Okay.
Mike, Todd. Hey, that's you.
I just sat down.
Apparently he's gonna call in.
Is he? Thanks for coming. Oh, he's calling in?
You feel stuff falling. You don't know what you're
European mountain ashes. They're really lush. This is what they call
Thanks everybody for coming out. I'm just gonna call in by phone. I'll just bring the phone up here then. Okay. Speaker and after that. He'll call about 6. Okay. Thanks. It looks like we will start.
We're gonna make them have a conflict of interest, but it's the only land that has a solar. That shouldn't be right.
Here you go, Heather.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there's more copies back here. Anybody else need a resolution?
What is it?
The resolution.
Sure.
I mean, we know
Change direction.
why they're doing it.
Well, they're still warm too.
Thank you.
Hi, we don't like each other well enough to
And
be
it kind of shook him up.
It's my priority shares, yeah.
Why not?
And there just isn't any commission.
I know.
You've got one over there. That's in.
Hey, those of you that are here, if you would sign in, please, on the sign-in sheet over there, we appreciate it, just so we know who's here.
barn that you want me to stick that over. I think she's still. Bad you.
I will put you on speaker. Since you at the front table here. All right, thank you very much. Okay, Kurt, you're on speaker, and I got you on the head table there.
Okay.
Looks smaller, Kurt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're thinner.
I lost weight. If you guys happen to hear voices in the background, I'm still working, so.
Okay, we're gonna get started here in just about another minute.
Okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mike here, Todd? Yes. Nikki?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
I need to approve the agenda, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I would like to change one of the things on it, unless we're gonna discuss that on number 4, but on something on the resolution. I wanted to make a change on that before we approve the agenda.
That would be part of the discussion, that would take
Okay.
place during discussion.
Okay,
Alright.
I
I
wasn't
wasn't
sure.
sure either.
Yeah, okay.
So then I'll second it.
Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approve the minutes of the previous meeting, and we need to strike
Item 1.
item 1.
It's talking about Wade Mitchell motion to nominate Doug DeVore as chairperson, that's zoning, that's not.
Yeah, that
Mitchell.
must be that.
Yeah, I don't know, how he had those typed out, so I just presented them as
Right.
was. I have
So
no
we're just
idea
saying
what.
that item 1 needs to be,
Okay.
struck.
So we will strike item 1
We're striking item 1,
in the previous minutes.
correct. Any other issues on the minutes?
No.
Okay. I would like a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Nancy? Kurt? Todd? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, discussion, possible action, approve resolution ratifying determination of zoning administrator relative to surrender of zoning certificates, number 2022.154.01-56.
What I would like to amend on this is I would like to strike the 8th paragraph, which states, whereas the Board of Adjustment disagrees that it was in any way improper, insufficient, or beyond the zoning administrator's authority to make a determination as to the mootness of Beverly and Espenscheid's appeal.
I don't have that.
You sure? Here, I've got an extra one.
Okay. Oh, I did.
Okay.
Back page. Back page.
Oh, okay.
You do have it?
Oh, yes, I do, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Okay.
I would agree with that, because I too do not disagree. And so it's saying the Board of Adjustment disagrees, and I'm in disagreement that we disagree. So that whole, I don't know that whereas paragraph adds anything to the resolution itself.
The
Are you
intent
the
was-
lawyer? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes,
Okay.
my name's Steve Leidinger.
Okay.
I'm an attorney, working with the county
Yeah.
and Bob on these, issues.
Yes.
And the intent behind that was to avoid establishing a precedent that that's not the type of thing that Bob can administratively do, to avoid meetings like this where you simply come to say, there's no need to appeal something that is no longer an issue. This was basically proposed because the applicant's attorney expressed that he believed it was beyond the zoning administrator's authority to say there simply is no longer anything to appeal here. I disagree with that, but as we've seen some related issues get litigated that I also would have said, I thought the zoning administrator had authority to do that. I thought it was best simply to have the board take an action to basically acknowledge that it didn't make sense to move forward with an appeal about an extension of a zoning certificate where the certificates had been surrendered.
Okay, so the certificates had been surrendered
Correct.
prior to the appeal, or not?
No, years back, there was a conditional use permit. There were a number of extensions of the deadline for those zoning certificates. An appeal was made after the last extension within 30 days.
Okay.
It was an appropriate appeal. However, the Salt Creek Wind, the holder of those certificates, just gave them up. Said, keep your certificate, we're not gonna bill pursuant to these, you can have them back. And that pretty much, if the point of an appeal was to say it was improper, the extension shouldn't be given, the certificate should be determined to be dead in the water, well, that's the result that's here now. The person surrendered them, the certificates are dead in the water. What's there left to appeal?
Am I correct in saying that there's still an issue going on with the other part of it though, beforehand? Not the extension, the 90-day extension, the whole other.
There are things,
prior-
there are things being litigated
That's what
outside
I was
of these
thinking, yes.
proceedings that don't pertain to this. The only appealable issue was that decision to extend the certificates by an additional 90 days. A determination that that was improper would basically say those certificates had expired and were of no further force and effect. The person surrendering, or the company surrendering those also results in those being no further force or effect. So ultimately, the appellant got what they wanted. No one's going to bill pursuant to those zoning certificates.
So your legal opinion is that should stay there? Or we can strike? We're looking for a legal opinion now.
Yeah, I think it's critical to the resolution. The way it lays out is basically, Bob made this decision, appellant's attorney expressed misgivings with that procedure.
Okay.
And, you know, I would ask the board to say no. It was okay for Bob to say, this appeal's simply not, there's nothing to appeal anymore. And save you guys the hassle of being here tonight. That would have been my preferred result, but being a cautious attorney, the thought of having you all come here tonight to kind of dot the I and cross the T seemed a better result for the county than to potentially have a lawsuit drag out forever as to whether it was appropriate for Bob to make that decision himself.
Okay.
I think the only thing is that it's the way it's written, that it basically says that we disagree that he didn't have the authority to do it, which.
Bob, and the decision we're talking about here is not, it's not Tavius's decision to grant that extension. It's Bob's decision to say, there's nothing left to appeal when those certificates have been
that.
surrendered.
But since this body had never met during either of the appeals, this is the one and only time that we have met for either of those lawsuits, so I still,
We've never met in
because of,
accordance with the lawsuit.
No, we don't.
right,
No.
the two appeals.
We've never met on any legal issues.
Right, that's what I'm saying, there were two appeals, and this
Oh, I don't
takes
know.
care of one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, since we had never met before, I just think, I agree with Bev Espenscheid's attorney that, you know, I just have a problem with, the Board of Adjustment disagrees.
But again, this was never an opportunity for this board to relitigate the past decisions of prior boards. This was strictly a decision, if the board would have come here tonight and this had been a hearing on that appeal, and the board wanted to go into prior decisions, other than this limited 90-day decision of Tavia Stevens, I would have reminded you all that that's not the subject we're here for tonight. It's simply that 90-day determination. You don't get to go all the way back to the original CUP. So, just looking for a, you know, and we can reword that if needs be. But basically, just looking at putting all those other kind of contentious issues aside and just looking at the issue of, was it necessary to all schedule a public hearing, put it in the paper, mail notice to everyone, have the parties come and argue their positions when the certificates that were extended have been surrendered and given up? That's really the only thing here tonight.
Okay, understood. Is that?
question is, do you think it was improper for Bob to simply say, that appeal's dead in the water because the certificates were surrendered? That's the decision we're talking about.
You brought up, you don't like how it's worded, or?
I don't know, I just don't like the way it words it. Well, for one thing, it's saying, whereas the Board of Adjustment disagrees that it was in any way improper or insufficient for Bob to go ahead and make the determination as to the mootness of it. I don't have a problem, I'm not disagreeing that he.
We weren't really involved in them surrendering the permits. We had no say in those permits
Right.
as a Board of Adjustment.
Right,
So,
I understand that.
okay.
And I would say that if anyone disagrees with that, they can vote against it, but that's basically the crux of the resolution, is that we're ratifying Bob's decision. So if you feel Bob did the right thing by saying there's nothing to appeal here, then you voted for the resolution. If you think that was improper, you vote against it. But it's kind of 7 whereas clauses leading up to that being basically the meat of the resolution.
Okay. You have another one highlighted?
No, that is the one.
Oh.
That is the same one,
Okay,
because it's down.
down here.
That's the only one that
Yeah,
disputed.
yeah, the first time I read it, I was just uncomfortable with that.
Okay.
And I just thought, we could still vote for the resolution ratifying determination of zoning administration without that 8th paragraph. So is it 100% necessary that be in there?
Is it necessary to what?
That 8th paragraph be in there? Or could it be struck and the resolution is still gonna happen?
Hold on, just a second here. You could probably.
It's not saying that we don't
I
agree.
would, if you're inclined to strike that paragraph, I would also strike the one before and after.
I'm okay with that. Striking 3 of them.
Yes, I would too.
Legal standpoint, you're okay striking the bottom 3?
I would prefer they be there, but if it's gonna lead to the resolution being, as a board, you can say, we're not gonna go with that amendment, we're gonna vote for this as it is.
Okay.
My preference would be that it go through as it is. But the ultimate goal is to get the board to ratify this decision and accept it. So if the only way to get it adopted is to lose those 3 clauses, so be it.
I would
We
vote for the
can-
resolution.
Okay, we can vote to strike those 3 if you so desire.
And then we, and, yeah, then I'm.
Put it
good
in
with
front of
Yeah,
a-
sure.
The board, agreed?
Nice.
Okay. I need a motion to strike the last 3 paragraphs on the front page.
I make the motion. Can you strike it, those 3 motions?
Okay.
And I would second that, 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, I just put the bottom because you have a number.
Yeah, there's something on the back though.
I was just counting.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I was just counting the whereas. It's numbers, 7, 9, but yeah, you're right, they're not numbered.
All those in favor of striking those 3, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll strike those 3. Can I get a motion? Are we all set to go on a motion?
Are you, basically a motion to approve the resolution as amended?
Correct. Unless there's any other questions or discussions. Okay. I think we're at that point. I need a motion for the resolution ratifying the determination of zoning administration.
I will make that motion.
That first, second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I think we've covered everything. Correct? I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Thanks for calling in, Kelly.
You never know how somebody will interpret that.
Right, it makes you like, wait, what?
Or is it clear? Yours is still going. It's a good thing to be out.
Yours is still going. Yeah, you might want some. Do you need anything else from us?
There's still one left.
It's on the back of that.
Signature?
You know, guys, so I know, I don't know if he. And then
Yeah, Mike.
Third.
So,
Mike's the
I'm
one.
going out of town.
What is the fourth, sorry?
I think it's a four.
I'm the one that's confused, Mike, not you. So wait a minute.
My wife will be in there. He's normally don't enter there.
Okay.
So I'll get a hold of you. History stuff. Hopefully I'll have my truck fixed.
Yeah.
You got my number? Yeah, I do. Well, I'll see you, I'll see you Monday, because we leave on Tuesday. And I should be back in time for the following Wednesday.
Well, they always look, this was bad.
Not the file.
Whoops. Huh?
It's not on the computer. I would think that they would show up somewhere.
We can't get their email address.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there should be that. There's a file out there we're supposed to have.
Yeah. Everything else. I call her.
I don't know why those, maybe
So hopefully this morning, they're gonna talk about making resolutions, right?
Left side.
They should be there.
this resolution was passed. Those paragraphs. I can best explain it by you reading.
Best right by myself.
So the 90 days is
Then you could grab it.
permitted or not?
Did they get the extension or not?
No, they turned in the permits. That doesn't.
So it's, they're not gonna
Back through Texas.
go forward at all.
This year.
No idea. They turned their permits in.
But they still need conditional use permits.
Who turned their permits in?
Salt Creek, the wind.
Just the zoning
Only
permits,
zoning.
not the conditional use permits.
It was nice and smooth. The Saturday we went up. Was that Saturday?
I'm at home yet today, so.
That's nice. We got down into Colorado with this.
I live in Manhattan, it's about 16.
It may have changed a little since then.
I've been through it, but I've been there. That's when my dad did his master's.
Ah.
So she has a question.
If they reapply for building permits, does it go through you? It goes to the zoning board?
Go through.
Goes to Bob.
These guys don't get any say in that.